Hi, hello, what's up? We are still continuing our major catch-up-a-thon. The next series I'm going to try to tackle is Boku no Hero Academia. I was just rereading what had happened before, and we've been kind of all over the place. We had a tense, excuse me, a tense family drama going to the household of Endeavor, learning a little bit about the kind of unbridgeable gaps that still exist between some of his children, which then escalated into a fight with some thug out in the streets, some guy Endeavor had put away a while ago, and then kind of a moment of reconciliation, but of course, still much more work to be done. After that, I thought, hey, we're probably going to get a nice straightforward school arc, and it seemed to be setting that up. Showing our class, showing our beloved class 1A, but that again very quickly derailed by something else even more important. Eraserhead being brought into the super top secret security, super secure place where they're storing black mist, black fog, black mist, whatever that guy's name is. The one that was always warping around the League of Villains. And they bring in Eraserhead specifically because he knew the person whose quirk was ripped out in order to make Black Mist. I'm not quite sure like what the specifics are on that. This no-muification of people, what kind of happens to them once their quirks are taken into something else. The fact that Black Mist did have Nomu-esque qualities of having multiple quirks implanted into his body makes me think that even though Eraserhead knew the base of this character, there may not be anything left for him to recognize. I don't know. It looks like it's going to get pretty intense. Also, I remember way back when I uploaded the video for the previous chapter, someone making a comment about how this character shows up in My Hero Academia Vigilantes, the spin-off series, which I have not read much of yet. So I'm kind of missing out on some contextual information there. Oh well, you know, c'est la vie. I'd like to read that series at some point, but it isn't a super high priority for me. I don't know if I'll get a chance to read it on the channel too. There's just so many other videos I want to make. I don't know if I'll have a chance. It might be one of those ones where I like get caught up on my own. I just read it by myself, and then I'll start doing new chapters on the channel, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, we are going to read now chapter 254. Ooh, the popularity poll results came in. That's pretty exciting. I'm gonna guess, well, actually, it looks like this color spread might spoil some stuff. I bet Toga is extremely high. I bet Deku did pretty well. I bet, you know, Bakugo and Todoroki especially probably. Eraserhead probably pretty far up there. I remember All Might was quite high up there, at least on the previous poll. Alright, let's see. Oh! Top 10, maybe they'll do it at the end of the chapter. So here we have a flashback to Eraserhead's time at UA. Oboro Shirakumo died during our work study. So his name is White Bear, and the Black Fog's name is what, Kurogiri? Kurogiri. So there's like kind of this parallel, this opposite of fog is bear. Sure, it's like an insubstantial thing compared to a bear. Definitely opposites. Three of us were going to start an agency. Shadow will set the small stuff for us. He was meant to handle all the details. Is this Present Mike, the third guy, with his sunglasses and Kaminori-esque grin? It all went south right after that. Crushed by a crumbling building, cut down far too soon. But before that, we've walked the path of the hero together. In other words, Kurogiri is a Nomu, with Shirakumo's corpse at his core. At least it's real likely. Ah, yeah, it is Present Mike. He's there too. The three dummigos of Class A. Really? They were dumb? I could see Present Mike being dumb. And this Shirakumo guy, I don't know, he seems boisterous. He might be a bit of a dumbass, who can say. But Eraserhead? A dumb ego? I don't know. I always took of him as very studious, very serious, going about everything properly. Superior quirks tend to end up clustered at UA. It's perfectly rational, yes. Ooh, why are they letting... This is All for One. Why is All for One just chilling here? Why is he talking? I guess this is just like kind of a flashback quoting of him. That the investigators are kind of relaying what he said. But it's an interesting point that superior quirks end up clustered at UA, so it's perfectly rational that there's a reason that they keep targeting UA again and again and again. Not just because of its symbolic role in society, you know, kind of representing that symbol of peace by proxy, but because there's so many valuable resources for them. They can just abduct a few students, turn a few students. Said it was like dumpster diving outside a 3-star restaurant. Probably swapped out the body before it got cremated and turned it into one of his insane toys, one of the Nomu. So don't go for looking for any meaning in any of it, DJ. It's nothing but pure evil. Okay. Nice summon us. We're hoping some sort of miracle through the bonds of friendship. Sounds like you're watching too many movies. It could be legit. The miracle is in the possibility. So it's kind of fun that they acknowledge that this is kind of a silly idea. That they could bring in the corpse that has been used to fuel this quirk fusion Nomu. They could just get the friends of that corpse and somehow something good would happen. It does seem quite unrealistic. It seems outside of the world that this series plays by. But then, just by acknowledging it and saying, you know, even then, it does sound outlandish, it does sound miraculous, but we're going to try. They allow themselves to. It's kind of like a lampshading thing. Now it's okay. I think that Nomu that Endeavor beat down in Kyushu, for example. Footage we got clearly showed a personality in that thing. It was obsessed with powerful fighters. After analyzing that bird husk's DNA, we learned that the body's base came from a punk who made a living as an underground fighter. Ah. See, that's kind of interesting. Because before I thought it was just that they had like a more sophisticatedly programmed Nomu. And that they had programmed it to want to seek out powerful fighters, constantly trying to prove itself. Just because that, you know, befitted their schemes, their agenda, to have it go out there and wreak havoc against the most powerful fighters it could find. But that was actually the inherent personality of the body that they used for the base. That is intriguing indeed. Body's personality remains, except I fought this guy at UA, spoke completely different, didn't react to me in any notable way. True. They've encountered each other, I think, a few times now. And yet, no friendship miracle has occurred. Maybe side effect of the experiments. Programming could delete memories or create fake ones. How can we get this huge lead? Try to awaken any attachments Oboro Shirakumo might have towards his own life. Alright, so this is a pretty cool motivation for a flashback. Shonen series often quite indiscriminate about how they trigger flashbacks, even ones that are quite long. Here I'm referring, of course, directly to Oda and One Piece, where just the slightest drop of a hat suddenly can trigger a flashback that goes on for 12 chapters. But here, there's actually a purpose to within the plot for them to have a flashback and recall these things and talk about them. It's not just for the benefit of the reader. It's not just to supply information, do character growth, do that sort of plot functionality, but it actually advances the story at its forward edge. So that's kind of cool. So, Eraserhead goes in. He activates his powers. I'm not sure why. Because Kurogiri already is locked down. He already can't activate his quirk. So I'm not sure why he's bothering with this, but sure. Rare visitor. Did we last meet at the UA of Asia? Oh, I guess that maybe is the last time we actually met in person, which wasn't a super substantial meeting. You know, it was a gigantic, chaotic brawl across all parties. Fogging to see stuff doesn't vanish, even with the racer's staring. Ah, okay, well, that's kind of cool. I hadn't really thought about that before, because he can't change transformation type quirks. But Kurogiri's powers, we thought maybe could just only be, you know, the power to warp people around and stuff. That it didn't necessarily go alongside with this change in his body. That was like another quirk or whatever, or rather like no, sorry, I didn't explain that well. That the effects on his body weren't the result of a quirk directly, but were a side effect of the quirk he has to warp people around. That it was just kind of creating this like effect or whatever. Shigaraki. Well, I presume he's not captured. What would you like to know? Pennington is my mission. They got a real bad cop, insanely loud, screaming all the time cop thing going on here, which could be quite effective. Did not pay me to do so, as I am the type who cannot abandon others. Ooh. So this is actually kind of more interesting than a flashback. We're getting an actual interrogation, this sort of intense conversation. I was about to leave that cat behind. He scooped the little guy up without second thought. Is there more connections? I don't follow. Have you come here exactly? Always hesitating, holding back. He very boldly made friends with the Razorhead. I love just that one little shot of the origins of their friendship. It says it all. It just says it all. You can understand so much of their personalities and so much of their interactions, and it answers every question you might have about how such wildly different people could end up being friends. Just that one panel. Fantastic. And the origin of the goggles, which of course is so much part of Eraserhead's tactics in battle. Always pulled me along. Huh. Kurogiri's not getting it. Always in high spirits, always facing forward, without considering what came next, even though death meant the end for you. Yamada and I are teachers now. I'm really strict with my students. Okay, so this is another kind of plot point that was quite relevant, quite scary right near the start of the series, was this risk that Eraserhead was going to expel them. That he had like expelled an entire class before. And it felt like kind of typical shonen stuff. Like, oh no, the odds are really against us. We're gonna have to try super hard. Oh, phew, it actually worked out. We're gonna keep going on, but gosh dang, was that close. The tension and stakes were so high. So I was kind of okay with it, just being like, all right, sure. But then later, like, the more world building they did, the more you learned about UA, the more you learned about Eraserhead. It felt more and more just like, what? That didn't really make any sense. Why was he expelling whole classes? That's not really how they do things around here. It doesn't really seem like that matches up with like the senpai and stuff too. Like, so now they're hinting this. Downright nasty how many kids he expels, right? At least on paper. What does this mean? Was he actually not expelling those students after all? Was there something else more complex going on there? The time he expelled us. Look, class 2A is talking about how they got expelled. They didn't get expelled, they're in class 2A. Huh? Still got nightmares thinking about the way we were told though. Sure, it sucked, but it also helped us grow. Ah, so he can expel and re-enroll students. So just to mess with their record, to give them some sense of consequence, some sense of fear, that they could actually just get expelled for good, he just kind of pops them in and out of class. You're all expelled. And then as soon as they're about to leave, he's like, nah, you're all re-enrolled. You were expelled, but I have, in this instant, re-enrolled all of you. Try a little harder next time. That was his plan. That was his scheme. Also, this is our first glimpse at second-year students, is it not? Maybe I'm forgetting something, but you know, we've had some focus on the third years with the big three, and of course the first years have been in the spotlight quite a bit. But the second years, I think have been kind of glanced over. Um, again, the foreshadowing of this series and always putting effort into the character designs, just in case you want to bring them out later. Very Oda-esque. I think that's just a great idea in shonen series. You always just want more cards in your hand, more characters you can reintroduce, more connections you can make throughout the years. So yeah, this main girl talking looks really cool. I like her puffy earrings. Seems neat. She has kind of this weary sense about her. The bags under her eyes, I guess. Intriguing. And then, even more intriguing, is that like a dog girl? The girl with like the long hair with parted bangs, standing behind the other two. Is that not a dog girl of some sort? I want to see. I want to see. Being self-sacrificing isn't the same as being suicidal. Many kids are confused it too. So give them what they want, a death to speak. That'll also get them working harder than ever. Huh. So that was his game. Okay. That's kind of fun. I wonder, like, when the mangaka chose to include this little detail, to explain this plot point that I think for a lot of them is long forgotten. I can see lots of purposes in it, because it's kind of bridging this connection that Eraserhead has this heaviness around him, this memory of his friend dying, like he's not really sure how to deal with all these kids that seem so eager to rush headlong into danger, knowing how quickly someone can die. And yet, of course, he wants to motivate his students, blah, 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 blah. But I think another part of it, too, is kind of like, do you think there are readers of this series that on some level still resented Eraserhead because they couldn't get over this whole idea that he was going to expel everybody, and they thought, geez, that's so unreasonable. So they have, now that Eraserhead is going to be the focal point of this next arc, presumably, they just really want to make sure that everybody's like on good terms with him. I wonder. I feel like that sort of thing gets taken into account. They're always running popularity polls. They're always kind of seeing how people respond to characters and stuff. If you include a detail like that, and it's not like justified for like 230 chapters later or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if there were still some people that that cling to some sense of Eraserhead, that asshole. Anyways, here he is though in his full heroism. Freedom is emblematic of UA's school spirit. Because I want guys like you, I want heroes who can pull others along to live good long lives. Shirakumo, if you're still in there somehow, the three of us can still be heroes together. Eraserhead crying. This person monitoring, shocked. Present Mike off screen, but probably just babbling incoherently about something. It's a pretty powerful message, and I'm curious. Like, I think the series is doing well when it strays into these non-traditional arcs, so that we could actually have an arc of just Eraserhead trying to bond with Shirakumo, trying to telling short stories presented in flashbacks, making moral arguments, perhaps an arc with no fighting and yet still centered around conflicts. It could be kind of cool. I like the idea of an entire shonen arc playing out in just this one room. So I don't know. I don't know how far we're going to go. I don't know if we're going to get caught up and these events will still be happening, or if it's going to be resolved next chapter. I just don't know. But I'm excited to find out. So let's find out together. Bye-bye.